Often when we make a sub-procedure or we make code or a macro, we don't want to assign it to a shortcut key combination or assign it to a button or any other object for that matter. The reason being that relies on us expecting the user to hit that button or to press that shortcut key combination. Sometimes I want the code to just run automatically, so that's when I use event procedures. Event procedures allow me to run the code automatically whenever the file is opened or closed or whenever the file is printed or saved. What you have in your Visual Basic Editor on the left hand side is your Project Explorer, and the project that I have open at the moment is Chapter 12. What I'd like to do is save this file as Chapter 13, so I'll just click on File and Save As, and I'll save this file as Chapter 13. And save. What I now see in my Project Explorer is the name of the VBA project is Chapter 13. This particular file has 3 sheets in it. One's called Chart Data, one's called Sheet 2, and one's called Sheet 3. And it also has an option, this workbook. Up until now we've been putting our code into modules. Now I want to put my code against various objects. For example, I might double click this workbook in the Project Explorer. When I do so, I can now hit the General drop down and choose Workbook. And to the right of that, I can choose an event procedure. For example, if I look through this list, I can assign a sub-procedure that before the file is closed, it automatically runs, or before the file is printed or saved. In fact, as I go down, there's all sorts of options that I can assign my code to. For example, if they ever insert a new chart or insert a new sheet, certain code can be made to run automatically. Or if they open this file, certain code can run automatically. What I might choose for an example is before print. I can remove these 2 lines of code because I'm not using them. What I'd like to do is set up some code that runs automatically before they print any particular sheet in this file. And before they print any particular sheet, I want to make sure that the page setup is set to landscape and that the footers are set up. Now you can type the code if you wish, but I'm just going to go to the VBA code file and I'm just going to select and take a copy of this when statement. So I'll take a copy of this. If I then go to my Visual Basic Editor and paste it in between private sub and end sub and bring up my Excel. The idea here, I'll just press tab to tidy it a bit, is with the active sheet, whatever sheet that may be, if they should print it, then I want the page setup to be set to landscape. In the left foot of each page, I would like to see the full name of the file including the path. And in the right foot of every page, I'd like to see today's date in a long date format. And in the center foot of every page, I'd like to see the page number and the total number of pages in the document. So let's click in this Excel file and let's go save. If I then go File and print this file, and then I turn around and go back to File and Print, I will see that it's changed it to landscape. And if I zoom in, I can see in the bottom left I have the file name and the full path. In the bottom center I have the page numbering, and in the right I have today's date in a long date format. And I can zoom out and go back to the Home tab. That page setup settings will happen to any sheet that's printed. So if I happen to go to Sheet 2 and just enter some data, testing 1, 2, 3, if I happen to go File and Print, it hasn't taken effect completely until I hit Print. Then if I go back to File and back to Print, I can see it's changed it to Landscape and it's put in the 3 footers that I requested. So event procedures are very good when you want code to run automatically as soon as an event occurs, rather than the user have to hit a shortcut key combination or a button. And I'll go back home and back to Chart Data. What I might like to do now is add some code that when they move from one sheet to the other, that the file is automatically saved. Some users, I don't quite know how, but they tend to lose information. And so to minimize the chances of them losing information, I often assign code that as they move between each sheet, it automatically saves the workbook. So what I might do here is actually change Chart Data. So I'm going to double click Chart Data. I'm then going to click the General drop down and choose Worksheet. I'm then going to hit the selection Change and change that to Activate or Deactivate. Actually, I might choose Deactivate. Deactivate means as they move from one sheet to another, they've effectively deactivated looking at chart data. Now the code I'd like to put in this private sub, I'll copy and paste from the code file. So I'll go back to the code file and I'll choose this statement here. And that is, I want it to save the active workbook automatically as they move away from a sheet or deactivate a sheet. If I go back to my Visual Basic Editor and bring up Excel, and I click in between the private sub and the end sub, I can paste that statement. Now what will happen is as I move to sheet 2, it'll automatically save. And if we look really quickly, we might see some little blue squares go across the bottom to indicate the file's been saved. So I'll just click sheet 2. And there I saw a little flash, which means the file's been saved. If I go back to chart data and then click on sheet 2 again to deactivate chart data, the code runs again, and it's just indicated by a little flash, only because the file's not very big. So event procedures are very good. You can assign code to a particular sheet in a particular procedure, or you can assign code to this workbook in a particular procedure.